Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is writer and director Joshua Patrick Dudley here to get my commentary on for you. So this is Stab 5. Look, it's even got the old J-Duds production logo in it. And the tribute to Scream 2 Stab. This is a special filmed in Stab-O-Vision. Doesn't actually mean anything, but that's what we did. There we go, our leading lady, Audrey Marquee, followed by Reanna Warnock.
Some better direction or something.
There we go. There's a nice little stab at your director for you.
Undeveloped.
We thought it might be funny to take some of the negative feedback and turn it into jokes.
In honor of the Scream movies,
I remember really wanting to make the fans think about what was going to happen right now, opening the movie with the main girl. I really wanted to make them think like, oh no, that couldn't be. It's not going to happen.
Fan sites are so mean.
They just didn't understand the movie.
And this, we actually tried to address real concerns here. There were quite a few people back in the day on some message threads that like to spread rumors about us on Scream forums and stuff like that. Say that I was a bad person. There was so much stuff attached to it. It was kind of funny. So we decided to poke fun at it the best way we could. Basically make fun of them too. But it was a real problem, and we were concerned about our reputation for quite some time over it, but we knew if we just stuck to what we were doing, we would shine through.
That's so upsetting. We worked hard, and I'm not an actress. I've never done anything like this before.
I think Reanna just said it best, actually.
I'm gonna go take a shower. We can continue this conversation later.
Okay.
None of these people were actually actors beforehand. Like, Audrey actually has quite a bit of acting experience, but most of the cast does not. We tend to use a lot of our friends and family members to fill out the cast. Again, this is for the audience teasing you. What's going to happen to the main girl? This girl's getting in a shower, so we know something's going wrong. This is also a tribute to Stab in Scream 2 right here, where she turns on the shower. We actually tried to do a lot of shots like that, paying tribute to the Scream series. There we go. That is Heidi Nicole playing Kylie Scott, and this is the first time we ever see her character. She's the news anchor, and she's got a very small part in this movie, but as you all know, in Stab 6, her part gets much bigger. She gets a extended backstory and everything.
The movie has served.
As you can also see, we've never really quite mastered the news studio set. We've tried some green screens and stuff before too, but most of the time you'll find our news anchors against a blank background or a white wall. Sometimes she's even in front of a brick wall.
I'm Kylie Scott.
Talk about press. Woo! There you go.
And now it begins.
Unknown caller. Here we go again. Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Who is this?
Who are you trying to
Obviously, this is
What number is
basically
this?
the entire
What number are you
Drew
trying to
Barrymore
reach?
scene from Scream, and they do explicitly
he's got the wrong
state that
number.
eventually,
It happens.
that they're mimicking line for line for line, following the script, and then it starts to change, and that's when she gets freaked out.
Good. Right on time. Hello.
I'm sorry. I think I dialed the wrong number.
The voice always
So,
makes me
why'd you
laugh.
dial it
Obviously,
again?
it's me.
To apologize.
We've tried a couple of different filters to make me sound a little scarier.
now.
Wait,
And now I
don't
gotta
knock.
talk like this when I do
I want to
it.
talk to you for a
But,
second.
and then we apply some more
Dude,
filters,
I'm
but
impressed.
the first
Whoever
couple of
this is,
movies
good
are
job.
kind
You
of
know your
comical
shit.
to listen
What
to
do
the
you mean?
Ghostface killer's voice.
Seriously. Dude, we're going line by line. The famous Drew Barrymore scene.
See, that's the part I'm talking
I've been
about.
getting
They
a lot
literally
of
explicitly
prank calls
state that
because
we're
of the
doing a
movie,
tribute,
but
essentially,
you're
to
the
Scream.
best yet. How many times have you seen Scream?
A lot. Should we keep
The camera
going?
that we used
You
for this
think you
was
can
given
beat
to
me?
us, or
I've done my
donated to
horror
us
movie
to
research.
increase
I know
production
pretty
value,
much
and it certainly
everything
is
there
much
is to
better
know.
quality.
So let's go.
It does have
It's
this
your
one
line.
annoying
Here we
feature, though.
go.
It has an
It got
autofocus
900
feature on
numbers
it
for
that
that.
makes every shot
Yeah.
kind of bounce back and forth. It gets more annoying as the movie goes on. But you'll also notice in this movie, we tried to do a lot more steady shots with the camera on a tripod. Most of the first movie is all handheld, and it was a very tiny camera, so a lot of the shots are still very shaky. And even as the franchise continues on, we still try to implement a lot of that handheld
tell me
filming
your
just
name,
to
I'll
kind of
tell
make
you
it
mine.
feel like it was our
think
style.
so.
Later on in
What's
this
that
movie, we
noise?
actually have a little
Popcorn.
joke
I
about
want it.
how shaky the camera
You're
shots
making
are.
popcorn?
Uh-huh.
Didn't you have enough popcorn at the premiere tonight?
That's not the line.
That actually scared her
Wait a
right
minute,
there.
how did
The
you
little
know that
pop
the
from the
premiere was
popcorn, that
tonight?
was real,
That was
and
for
she
the
wasn't
cast
expecting
only.
it, and
The
it
public
startled
premiere
her.
was like 2 weeks ago. else.
Who do you want me to be?
Someone else.
The premiere date obviously doesn't line up with the premiere date of Stab 4. We were just trying to set the tone, I guess, give you an idea of a time frame of when this was happening.
Look, the game is over. I don't want you
Stab
to
4
call
actually
me
came
again.
out on October
Mom, the
10th,
game
and
is
this
only
movie
just
set
begun.
around Christmas
You know the
time
rules, I assume.
in December. So really, it should have been at least a few weeks.
Don't say I'll be right back.
Earlier
No
for the
drinking,
premiere.
No drugs, no sex. I know all the rules to stay alive in a horror movie.
Fuck those rules. This is a new decade with new
We also
rules.
noticed that we
And
didn't really
we do
mention
horror
the
we make.
rules in
That's
Stab
for you
4,
to
so we
figure
thought we'd
out.
bring up the
Same
rules
game as
more
always,
frequently
though.
this time.
Horror movie trivia. Get it right, live. Get it wrong, well, you know the rest.
Well, you know the rest. Sometimes my writing just
For real,
really
stop
makes me
fucking with
smile.
me. My roommate is home, and
And in the shower, she'll never hear you scream. Time to play.
seriously, dude, I'm like 5 seconds away from calling the cops.
They'll never make it in time. The police station is on the opposite side of town.
The popcorn shots were actually,
What
obviously
do you
they're
want?
also a tribute to the Scream movies, but they were really kind of hard to execute. I think we ended up going through 3 or 4 Jiffy Pops while we were making it. One of them actually did burn, and both girls hurt themselves trying to open it. They got paper cuts pretty bad on their hands from trying to open the top of the Jiffy Pop.
I told you, the game is over.
You're not making this very
So,
easy.
there's a note for you,
I'm
Jiffy
trying
Pop.
to give you and your roommate a
Make your
chance
tops
live,
easier to open.
be in the fucking sequel. But you have to play my game.
That's the killer almost explicitly stating that they're making a sequel to the movie, Stab
If you get the
4.
question right, sure.
A real-life sequel is what he's trying to
You don't.
imply.
Ready to play?
And as you'll find out, it's really supposed to be more of a
Directed the
remake.
2009 remake of Last House on the Left.
This was a joke that me and Rachel used to talk about all the time, that if we got a phone call from the killer, we would just go on IMDb and then answer all of the killer's horror trivia questions that way.
That's a wrong answer. Wes Craven directed the original.
This wasn't too
You know
apparent,
what
but she looks up the remake of Last House on the Left, not the original. You can see it on the page if you watch. Those were some of our first attempts at digital effects. The smoke that you see coming out of there is fake. I really hate the noise of smoke detectors, too.
Another prank call. I don't know, this time it got
That's why it doesn't last too long in the scene.
Sorry.
It's alright, seriously though, you look scared. Let me go blow dry my hair and I'll come back and chill and we can crack open a box of wine.
A box of wine, that's also my
You
favorite.
don't have to. You can go to bed. Really, I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Go have dreams.
I think Reanna really came a long way in this movie, too. Like, her acting skills. She learned a lot from the last movie. And after her character bites the dust, she actually helps film for a little while. Oh, excuse me, before her character dies, she helps us film Audrey's death scene, because I was in the costume playing the killer.
She gave you a good scare, huh? You should have seen your face.
You can see me right now?
Sure can.
What am I doing?
This is also a tribute to the first Scream, where Sydney does that when she gets the killer's phone call for the first time at her house.
Right outside your door. Not that original, I know, but we'll just call it an homage to Scream.
Again, explicitly telling you what we're doing. This is another shot that I've always wanted to film through a keyhole. I don't know why, and it worked out pretty well. We needed an excuse for Rihanna not to be able to hear Audrey getting killed. That's why she's blow drying her
You
hair.
had me for a second. Like I said, you're the best prank caller yet, but I don't believe
That was a
you.
real thing, too. A lot of us actually got a lot of prank calls after the first movie. A few of the actors had to change their phone numbers, including me.
See?
I still have to change mine every now and then.
Dial someone else, okay?
I'm told that that gets a lot of people that watch it, the killer popping out from inside her apartment unexpectedly. The stab through the hand, we actually have a couple of different shots of, too. And we used a plastic fake hand. It was really bad. That's one of my favorite effect shots, still to this day, that we've done. It's actually 3 different shots blended together, and you can't even really tell. That actually really hurt, too. I hit my back on, you can see it, there's like a plug outlet on the wall or something, so that scream was real. This, we wanted the killer to seem a little more vicious than our last killer, so he kind of beats her and kicks her a little. That was one of the only shots where you can actually see the glass behind her that he's about to impale her on. And she's a little off, the prosthetic's a little off, but we were really excited that we could just make the blood squirt. That was a big goal of ours, was squirting blood in this movie. I love that shot. The killer matrixes his way away from the bullet. At least she tried to get out the door. It's still locked. Don't know when that happened, but...
No, please.
This is something else we had never done either, was shown the killer's perspective while filming. The shirt. Oh, the shirt. Everyone talks about how the shirt turns yellow in the close-ups. It doesn't turn yellow. It's actually the same shirt over a cardboard box, but it's in different lighting, so it makes it look yellow. The old Stab logo. It took us a really long time to master a Stab logo that actually looked like the Stab logo. This one was close, but not quite. Oh, I forgot on the full movie version, the big long title sequence is cut out.
French vanilla, extra, extra.
This was fun. We actually filmed this at a real Dunkin' Donuts. The lady had no idea that we were filming, and we just went through. We only had one shot to try and make it work. Luckily, we had a little bit of extra time while we were waiting at the window to have our coffee. So, like, here we had a few minutes that we were able to retake things if we had to and fix lines. We pre-recorded that just so Rachel would have a funny voicemail for me, like Josh had taken her phone and programmed that as her voicemail whenever he called. I mean, her ringtone.
Rachel. Hello. Where are you?
I'm clearly sitting right next to Rachel. I'm not on the phone.
Every single morning. Hurry the hell up. I'm exhausted. Goodbye.
We had to kind of rush the scene a little there because we noticed that the lady was about to deliver our coffee, and notice that we don't show her face because we didn't want to run into any issues that way. Rachel's character smokes a lot in this movie because she's super stressed out. And talk about expanded roles. Rachel is the biggest expanded role of them all. She starts off with just a cameo role in Stab 4, and then she ends up with this huge part that continues through the rest of the movies.
But it's not about money. It's about the end result.
This was a fun scene to film, too. It's always fun when we show the rock climbing wall in my living room. We try to block it out in a lot of shots, but it sneaks its way in. But you'll notice in the later movies, we film completely around it so that you don't see it. But yes, that is an actual rock climbing wall in my living room. This is actually my old living room. I'm moving right now, so I'm saying goodbye to this place as we record this. You all remember Alex from Stab 4, so we had to bring him back for Stab 5, and we were happy to have him with a whole bunch of new cast members. These guys were awesome to work with. Steve Matlock is great. He was a friend of Chris Dube, who I originally cast and wrote a part for Stab 4. So we got him into this one because he was very interested. Chris O'Brockie is all the way from Maryland, so he traveled out here to be in this movie. I think he stayed out here for a week or two, something like that, and we squeezed production into as short a time as possible. Whatever scenes he was involved in, everyone had to be available during his time frame. And we actually, in the next movie, in Stab 6, we have a lot more out-of-state cast members. My hair is something hilarious to watch with these two.
So you're just gonna show
Rachel really commits to her roles, which is something I really like. Like, she's supposed to have spilt coffee down her. So we literally spent a good 5 minutes before each one of these takes soaking Rachel's boobs. It's actually just water because we didn't want to stain her clothes.
Back to the topic at hand. The monkeys want to get paid. They're revolting.
You'll notice the green binder and the Kermit in this movie. We used to play games with the fans online that we would do contests like find the green binder or find every time that Kermit the Frog stuffed animal appears in the movie. So he got added in, and the binder got added into a bunch of random scenes.
I appreciate it.
We did the green binder contest, but I don't think we ended up using enough takes with Kermit in it to do the Kermit contest. But who knows, maybe we'll do it in the future.
Bye, Josh. Bye. Thank you.
That's the one problem with steady shots. Filming back then, too, was something totally different. Like, it's still, we don't put tons of preparation into before filming, like shot planning and stuff like that. It's kind of easier for everyone, especially the actors, if we kind of just go with the flow and see what works best. Because we're going to end up doing multiple takes because we only film with one camera. My hair has already changed since the last scene, so you can tell that we filmed this on a different day. It's longer and nappier looking. The Christmas tree, to remind you that this was Christmas time.
That's fine. When did you want to do that?
Whenever everyone's schedule finally allows.
That's that autofocus feature I was telling you about. Drives us crazy. But yeah, as I was saying about the stationary shots and shot planning, a lot of our shots, we didn't always double check them back in the day. We didn't make sure that we had every angle, or even, as you can tell from some of these, we didn't even make sure that all of the angles looked proper. We just set them up and hoped that we stayed in frame. And obviously Rachel's too far left in this frame. My head was kind of cut off in the last shot, or it still is in these. So... I'm exhausted and it's only like halfway through the day. I love working with Rachel, though. She's my best friend in real life, but it's funny to play the characters we play because they really are super, super dramatized versions of ourselves. Like, Rachel would never complain that much, and hopefully I would never be that big of a bitch to her. But I've had my moments.
I'm gonna go take a nap. I'm getting cranky.
See, even character Josh knows he's having a moment. He's got to go take a nap.
I'm sorry.
This part always cracks me up because he sits down and then he's just magically sitting, or I'm just magically sitting, and we hope you can see me in the mirror because we didn't plan that shot out very well, and we never ended up with another angle, like a close-up of me talking or anything like that. Rachel doesn't have a lot of good angles in this scene either. It really was just kind of thrown together, and you can tell. There we go. Now I figured out we got to get her better shots.
Hello?
Hi, Jennifer. It's Rachel.
Hi, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just calling.
Jennifer is another one of our actresses that came to us with a lot of prior acting experience, so we knew we could write her really big parts and she'd be able to pull them off.
That's right. I forgot you're one of our
So this movie, she gets upgraded to lead girl status, final girl status.
Not so much. My boyfriend.
And this is kind of the introduction to real Jennifer, as opposed to Heather Gale that she played in Stab 4. There's Chris Dube and Stephanie Mayu. Stephanie is playing Shannon Nightingale from the first movie, but Shannon was in a horrible car accident, and we ended up having to replace her to be able to continue with production. Ashley Swank as the fortune teller.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm here to get my poem.
This was filmed on location at a store called Myths and Maidens in Manchester, New Hampshire. And this is actually in their basement. They have this cool room where they did like psychic readings and stuff like that. There wasn't a whole lot down there set-wise for us to work with, but I think it really gives it that like eerie, creepy, dank feeling. But the empty bookshelves were something we all kind of thought were funny. Like, I think we should have brought some props and maybe decorated them.
Cash only.
Damn. I'm running low on cash. Spot me a 20 and I'll hit you back.
For this bullshit? No.
There's got to be a skeptic in every crowd, right? That's the role Chris is playing in this scene.
Thank you, Daddy.
Also, Love Whipped.
But you better pay me back, though. And not like last time where you borrowed money. I never saw that 20 again. And then...
This was another thing we really tried to work on, was giving the characters something to do in the scenes this time.
Please, we're on pay time now.
So, like, instead of waiting for the money, she snatches it right out of his wallet. The fortune teller has something to do. Jennifer has her purse in her lap so she can play with stuff if she needs to. The stuff on the table has some cool history. Those tarot cards I've had literally since I was like 10 years old. I bought them at a witchcraft shop in my hometown. Those little plastic skulls we ordered online somewhere. The box is actually an antique box, so we thought that would be really cool to use.
You are not safe.
The music in this movie was done by Milan Peltsaras. I'm sorry if I didn't say your name right, Milan.
Oh no!
But it's definitely a different style from Isaias Garcia's score for Stab 4. But it's got this
I don't know, I've only seen
different feeling to it, which is what we were going for. The last one sounded completely different than this one. We wanted to show the shift from movie to real life, so even the music had to be different. That's Dube's kind of first sign of anger. Notice we don't have a good shot of that either. I told you, not a lot of the shots were planned out in this movie at all. Ashley as the fortune teller is just great, though.
I told you Shan would freak out.
I love the upstairs of this store of Myths and Maidens. We wanted to film up there, but randomly the day we decided to film here, they were super busy. People kept coming in. Even these scenes were hard to execute, and we only had this location for one day. So every scene that happens in here, including the fortune teller dying later, and Dylan coming and interrogating the fortune teller, they all had to be filmed in one day here. And it was a horrible day outside. It was pouring rain. The cast came in soaked. We had to fix everyone's hair. Like, It took a lot of effort to film inside here, but the location is so worth it. It's so cool to have such a neat set like that in the background.
Yeah, right. Oh, my earring.
Here, got this.
Oh, hey.
Jennifer, oh, hey. You can tell she is a very, very good character actress. It comes through even in her normal acting style.
Grave danger.
The warning. We hadn't really done one of those in the last movie. Here we go. This is the first time that we see Dylan Roberts' character, played by Mandy Russell, and her Aunt Regina. This is the first time we see her too. Regina does die in this movie. Womp womp, spoiler alert. But a lot of Dylan's motivations are driven by the fact that her aunt dies in this movie.
He's been up to lately instead of writing his kids' books.
Adult contemporary fiction? Is that how it looks?
It's so weird to hear the characters talk about me.
He's been writing his own stab movies.
And we base it so much on real life that I'm even an author, essentially, in these two, that I write kids' books, which I do in real life. They're called Lost and Oz. You can find links to it. I'm sure you'll find them.
Exactly. Now you're using your noggin. Information is everywhere.
So also, the steady shots, you'll notice that horrible transition right there. Even the tripod we had made it really hard to film with. Like, it was very stiff and it wasn't easy to maneuver around. But again, we have no money. We make these movies on pretty much a $0 budget. Stab 4, I think, had we must have spent like $200 on it just for the fabric, for the costume. And then this movie, we had a little bit of a budget upgrade because Rachel was investing in it with me this time and contributing, and we had some sponsors help us out.
The character is only in select parts of the script. She's not involved in the ending this time. Heather Gale's not the killer.
But I love that they're doing the Stab 5 that could have been, essentially, if we had just done a sequel to Stab 4 instead of changing it to real life.
The murder stuff and everything kind of made me uncomfortable. It's not really who I am.
This scene is inspired by true events and an actual conversation, almost verbatim, that Jennifer and I had one day about the scripts. Jennifer loves being part of our movies, and it's fun and exciting.
I guess I don't understand. Heather Gale is supposed to be dead.
But in the end, we still murder people in our movies, and that's not easy for everyone to handle.
That is it. 52 in your script.
That's the actual Stab 5 script, like for this movie. That we're just using as a prop inside this movie. So if we wanted to cheat, we could just read our lines right off the page.
Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs.
My hair is different yet again in this scene. This is probably the only scene that it actually looks semi-decent, even though I have the Brady Bunch mom hair flip at the bottom.
There's this big reveal at the end of the movie when Sarah Campbell finds out that your character's still alive. Gonna be epic.
I did originally have a different draft of a Stab 5 that was a sequel to Stab 4, but we decided it didn't play out very well, and we really wanted to get away from the over-the-top cheesiness. Like, it was still important for us to have cheese factor in these movies.
I thought you were going to try and make
But this was a great way of sneaking in the cheese factor by having there be another cheesier script inside of this script.
And suddenly having a gun and shoots me in the head.
If you can think of a more believable way to resurrect a character from the dead.
If you ever see a mirror in the shot, like in the background, notice something's moving. Oh, that's my head moving. But but you'll notice in a lot of them you can see things that you shouldn't be able to see, like piles of stuff or someone standing there. Reflections you can frequently see people in the background.
Oh, good, you're awake. I was just... That's not important. Hi, Jen. Okay.
We were trying to imply there that Rachel, there's a possibility that she could be the killer too. She didn't want to explain where she was.
That is not what I said. I just think that the whole metal plate...
But the three of us together is also a great feeling. Like, we all kind of naturally play off each other. We've all done a lot of theater.
If Josh wrote it, we do it.
So we're used to each other's methods, essentially.
Issue solved.
That's not fair. She's biased. She's in love with you. She's going to agree with everything that you say. Please.
Obviously, Rachel isn't in love with me. We do love each other on a very special level. That was just, again, an example of our over-dramatized versions of our lives. Like, that, nobody would ever even question that in real life.
The things you have to do for us, Josh. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Holy kiss ass.
Rachel has the benefit that I try to write her a lot of sarcasm, which she's the sweetest person in the world in real life, but she's got a nice sarcasm side to her too, so those scenes always play well.
Tacky or not, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, you're too kind.
I know, I try.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
But see, even that to me felt really natural. We do love each other. We tell each other we love each other. And playing the scene. Look at my hair switched.
Wait, you don't like
We
it?
must have filmed a little bit later after Jen left because the light looks a little bit darker. I look a little more zombie-like, and God knows what happened to my hair. This may have even been a missing scene. After we had finished filming, we noticed that we hadn't finished filming a few scenes, and we had to go back and start them over.
Call the cast and let them all know noon for the table read for tomorrow, and then when you're done, you can go home.
Okay. Where are you going?
I'm gonna go get some dinner. I would invite you, but you have work to do.
Such a bitch, Josh. I love this shot, though. I've always wanted to do something time-lapsey and cool. It might have been a little too quick, but...
Do you guys think we should have left Josh's parking lot before we started smoking?
Kenny, you're such a fucking whiner. Always complain about something. Jesus, I swear he's worse than my girlfriend back home, and he doesn't even put out.
See, even in the movie, Chris is an out-of-state character, Derek.
Yeah, too long.
Derek? Yeah, Derek. There's Derek and Eric Riley, so I get confused.
Top the line kind of shit.
But weed smoking is another big theme in our horror movies. Even in Stab 4, they mention it. I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, it's definitely in Stab 6. In the original version of Stab 7, there was a stoner character. But yeah, that's a frequent thing we find in movies, is drug use, and we don't really want to play up too many drugs. You know, some of our audience is kind of young. So we figured weed smoking was the most harmless out of all the drugs that these amateur film crew would be doing.
Primo shit, too. You guys in New Hampshire got it made.
We won't ask any questions about where the props came from.
So how do you think that little meeting went?
This was also incredibly hard to film because it's inside of a car, and if we were inside where it was warm, like in a garage or something, I would have just filmed through windows outside. But because it was freezing, we filmed inside the car. So I'm really just like squished up really, really close to all these actors. That's, again, why some of the framing is off, because I'm pretty much on top of one of them while I'm filming another.
Nah, man. I'm just a lighting guy. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Just want to be behind it.
He doesn't want to be in the spotlight, he says on his close-up.
Well, Josh is reinventing the Stab series, trying to make it his own and not a clone of the Scream movies. A reboot, I guess.
And that was a true statement, you know, like we wanted and always want to pay homage to the Scream movies, but it was really important for us to find kind of a different ground to play in than the Scream movies. That's why we switch it to reality, or I switch it to reality in this one.
If he loses that, then it's over.
You know a lot about horror movies?
And that's the great debate over the switching up the lead girl and the lead girl dying.
Horror movies since we've been here.
What do you guys think of Stab 4?
You did a good job.
That was a little joke, also a little stab at how bad, get it, stab, at how bad Stab 4 was.
I mean, I want some Sydney, baby, right?
Yeah, without Nev Campbell to play her.
And that's feedback from the fans, too, you know, like, why do you have Sarah Campbell instead of Sidney Prescott? Again, we're trying to separate ourselves from the Scream movies and really give our stories their own universe.
Lame. Score some more later?
Sure.
I'm in. Later, kid.
But I love what we came up with, and I love how the story evolves, even through Stab 5, 6, and 7, how they're all kind of based on a movie. Normally, if a movie was based on, like, a former movie, you wouldn't actually see a whole bunch of that movie, but you can actually watch all of Stab 4 that these are supposedly real-life sequels to. I don't even know whose house this is, I just love it, so I filmed it, and it was good because it was snowing.
You should have seen us run out of there.
The siren, if you're hearing the siren, is in the background of my house, not of the movie. I live right by a hospital. You may even be able to see it through my windows in some of the shots.
I must have dropped my earring or something, because I got to
So this was one of the favorite things, one of my favorite things that I wrote into Stab 5 was Jennifer had a long-distance boyfriend, because supposedly she's from out of town, too, in the script. She's really not, though. She's really a New Hampshire native as well. But Dave is actually from out of town and is in Hollywood through all of filming. He was never actually on set. It's funny how a lot of people actually wrote to us and commented saying that they think he's the killer. And maybe that's because you really never see him in the flesh. You only see him via webcam. So Dave is relief for the movie. He's real comedy. He's a comedic genius in real life, too. So we knew writing him anything that he would just really add to the scene and give it a lot of life. And he's beautiful, let's be honest. We knew we wanted to have him give Jen a little striptease, so we had to pick someone that was really cute, too. So Dave is a great sport, and really took it above and beyond what we had even asked for. But yeah, Dave is from California, and it would have been funny. It never even crossed my mind to have him come out here and be the killer. Like, that would have been pretty neat. Here we go. Are you ready for the dance-off? I think this was also a way of us bringing modern times to the Scream movies. The Scream movies were so based in landlines and cordless phones and not cell phones and computers. And Sydney even has a computer in the first movie that looks like it's 10 years older than the movie itself. So it was really important for us to have a modern take on everything and bring modern appliances in. You don't actually see the killer interacting over webcam and stuff like that, but in Stab 4 she gets text messages instead of a phone call, and it kind of evolves in this one too.
I mean, this is good stuff over here. You know, how long have you been working on this? Where are you?
Police have officially closed off the
More Kylie Scott. Notice she's still on that same white background. And those shots that look like promo shots for Stab 5 are actually promo shots for our Stab 5.
Dave, 2 of my co-stars
The
just
Scream
got
font,
murdered.
though, as the
After receiving
title,
threatening phone calls. Holy shit,
Murders
just
in
like the movie.
Manchester. That might have been a poor choice.
This isn't one of my I'm lying to you to practice.
But at least we
my
can say
acting skills
our
things,
new
David. This is for
studio,
real.
at least lower thirds, improved over time. Now, this filming style is something we still kind of execute to this day now, too, that our cameras are really picky, so we have to leave them steady. The steadier we leave them, the better quality we get. So then we tend to add in motion like this after in the editing program.
Shut up! This is serious.
So is your career.
Oh, hold on.
My phone just went off at the same exact time as that. It kind of freaked me
I'm
out.
sure they saw this on the news. That's probably why they're calling. Hold on a sec, okay, hon?
Well, call me or...
I love he's actually being filmed, like I said, over webcam. So I love that there were little errors like that where he would kind of look glitchy and stuff, because that's how it would look in real life too.
Confirm the table read for tomorrow at noon if that's cool.
Wait, you're still going through with it?
Why wouldn't we?
There are something about Rachel's eyes in these shots that just like kill me. They're glowing.
What the fuck do you mean they were murdered?
My favorite line in the whole movie.
Friends are dead.
Fucking shit.
This one was important to us too, that we show the Christmas tree a lot.
Who are we gonna get to play
That's
Sarah
another
Campbell?
thing that we've really
we're 2
tried not
weeks
to do
away
in
from
editing
production and
anymore
our lead
either,
girl
is
gets
take
murdered.
to the
You get
same
to kiss the
shot.
franchise
If you
goodbye
see that
now.
happen a lot of times because we had to replace a shot and they didn't quite line up.
You can't still be thinking about this fucking movie.
Yes, I can, Rachel. It's become an obsession to me. All this hard work, all this stress is not going to be for nothing. I refuse to have any regrets with Stab 5 like I did with Stab 4.
I kind of look like I'm gonna cry.
Lost your fucking mind.
It's already gone.
Not a tear. Not even a fucking frown. You can't.
Again, something that was deserving of a much better
I don't have time
frontal
to be sad,
shot.
Rachel. On top
Rachel
of
set up
everything
my
else we
shot.
already
That's
have
why
to
it looks
do,
so
now I
good.
have to schedule an audition for Sarah Campbell.
This is about those comments online, isn't it? They're really bothering.
These props, all the props you see
I don't
were
know.
actually
You
props
can only
for
listen to
Stab
people
5.
call you an arrogant asshole so many times before you kind of have to start believing that.
Let it go, Josh. Seriously. What if these murders are connected to this movie?
What do you mean?
Spot on, Rach.
Mean? What do I mean? We're making a movie where someone's trying to kill these girls. But now these girls are actually dead. How don't you see that connection?
See, you know, and that's a fear in real life too. We've had, like we said, with the prank phone calls and stuff before too, there has been some fear from the cast, you know, that people really are going to try to start killing us because we make movies about killing us. And I always tell them, at least you'll die a legend.
If it makes you
I'm a
feel
very
better,
supportive
we can all go to
director.
their funeral together, if it doesn't interfere with filming.
See?
Josh, I'm done.
You're done? What do you mean you're done? What are you quitting? You're just gonna leave?
If I wasn't so worried about you, I would quit. I mean, I'm done with this conversation. Because right now, I have to go grieve the loss of my friends.
That was a little foreshadowing, by the way. Rachel quitting.
You're not grieving. And like a normal human being, maybe it'll worry you too.
Okay, have a nice day. Are you leaving? Are you storming out now? Are you gonna prove your point?
Whatever. I'll see you at
Something tells me if me and Rachel actually got into a fight, that might actually be how we fight. I don't think we've ever gotten into a fight, though, so.
The fuck you been
This scene was not in the script. This is an additional scene. We had the out-of-state cast member, Chris O'Brockie. This is his hotel room. And we had extra time with them where he was just here for filming and he didn't have any scenes to film until the next day. So Steve was around, so we wrote them another special scene.
All right. Your choice. What we doing, how we doing it? Big spoon, little spoon.
Fuck that, dude. Let's find a different way to say
The lines we all wrote together, all three of us. They contributed their own lines. I made suggestions. We switched some things, changed some lines.
What's your favorite scary
And we just filmed it as we went
horror
along.
movie trivia, son?
You think you can beat me in hard trivia?
So this is almost a... Are they the killers? Is one of them the killer? Are they working together? That's kind of what we wanted this scene to represent. Like, they're both horror movie fanatics, so either one of them, honestly, would know enough about horror movies to try to make one.
There's the main character.
Or to make a real-life horror movie.
Lame. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, shit.
The horror trivia and their answers are correct.
Speaking of Evil Dead, in the first movie, where is director Sam Raimi's cameo?
Fuck! I
don't know that one either.
Get your ass up. It's mine.
Oh! And he doesn't even tell us the answer. That's something we can all Google later. Regina's house. Oh my gosh, I love this house. It's not the same house on the outside as it is on the inside. She has an apartment that we filmed in, and we made it look like a house, but it's all on one level. The house we found to use as her exterior, so it worked out. This I love too. We've used this prop gun in so many movies that it's literally fallen apart.
Regina!
That could have played better if I knew how to film.
Considering you're already 15 minutes late, you're on the clock, and you refer to me as ma'am. I'm just fucking with you.
Mandy's look.
And ready. You're already late. We're supposed to meet at the station at 9.
Sorry, I was...
These two filming together is just a dream too. Like, sometimes it's a struggle, let's be honest. Like, we have a little too much fun on set. These two have so much fun that they kind of distract each other from the actual script. But you could really sense the real love that was there, so that was kind of nice. Like, they seem to actually have affection for each other and care about one another. And they were both very supportive. Like, there's a lot of big lines like this that are hard for a lot of people to spit out. And neither one of them have any acting experience. So for them to be spitting out paragraphs of dialogue at a time is quite a challenge. But they helped each other through it, and it was really a beautiful experience to watch them grow together.
All you had? What about me?
Yes, Auntie Regina, I'll always have you, and I appreciate that. But Nancy Drew
Stupid autofocus.
Another thing I think I deserve a little credit for. Hello, I'm a detective too.
And I want
Patty is a mom in real life, Patricia Shanley, who plays Regina. Wow, I can't talk anymore. Which is not good when you're doing commentary. But she's a mom in real life, and her kids are amazing. She's an excellent mother, so I knew she would bring that to the character. And I really can kind of even sense some of my mom in her when she scolds Dylan.
They love my writing.
And her eyes, look at those eyes, they're insane.
Please say I can help you write your murder mystery.
But see, you can see some of her kids' toys in the background, and that's why her fridge is covered in like kids' magnets and stuff like that.
Fine.
Ta-da! The outside of my apartment building. These shots are not easy to get either. I'm pretty sure that was a photo that we made look like motion.
Josh.
This was really, really fun to film. Rachel tried, because basically I had no control. I'm laying in bed with my eyes closed. Rachel would sneak up on me and try different attacks when I wasn't expecting it. And I remember thinking, don't anticipate Rachel scaring you, so it actually looks like she scares you. And she managed to scare me every single time.
I'm here for the table read. Everyone's here.
Shit! Alright.
Wait.
What?
I think you should say something to them about,
No, I don't know.
the murders.
Oh, yeah.
I never really noticed all the random junk in my bedroom.
Please say it gently.
Well, my old bedroom.
No, I'm serious. There's a lot of people out there.
I don't know what happened to that lamp that's back there either, but I would like to find it. The shade is made out of mica, which is like a thin, crystal-y rock. This scene I felt like a lot of people didn't get either. And it was basically a way of us cutting a couple of scenes to save time because the movie was starting to run really long. My shirt is awesome. It has a stripper on it, and it says, "I support performing arts."
They're dead. Deal with it. We have to film.
They are dead, and we do have to film. We have a lot of work to do. I mean, send out the press release for tomorrow letting everyone know that the Sarah Campbell auditions are at 10 a.m. And for the love of God, don't forget my coffee, okay?
Which is funny, in real life, I don't really drink a lot of coffee. I have a slight Coca-Cola addiction. That was another creepy thing. We never really thought about it. Not only do we show you my actual apartment building, but then we show you my apartment number. Like I said, luckily I moved.
Jennifer, wait, I wanted to talk to you.
This is another attempt at digital effects. None of the snow falling from the sky in this scene is real. It's all digital. But we needed it to feel more wintry. Obviously there was snow on the ground at a lot of shots, but...
Dube here just told me that he hasn't finished his Christmas shopping, so he's gonna go do that tonight. So why don't you come over, please?
I love this scene.
We can have a girls' night.
And again, I think it's the chemistry and the realness of it. Like, they feel like they're actually having this conversation, and the Shannon character didn't listen to a word Jennifer said, so she keeps begging.
Until you do it.
Yay! I'm so excited! I just can't wait! That's more like it.
Alright, well, I'm out of here. Bye, Jennifer.
Bye, Dube. Love you, babe.
Love you too.
Let's take my car. I have to check and make sure that I...
Back to what I was saying earlier, though, about the actors having a hard time, or some of them, with playing the actual horror scenes. That is something that's written in, but it also applies because they're playing a form of themselves, over-dramatized versions of themselves, of course. But you're in a movie, and we're using your real name. You know, it's hard for a lot of people to let go of egos, and I don't want to look bad, or I don't want to seem like my character has different beliefs than me and stuff like that. Karen is amazing, and we will say this to her face, we will say it behind her back, we will say it to the world. Karen is amazing. She's a great actress, she's a wonderful mom, and she's an even better friend. She was in Stab 4 playing Sarah Campbell's mom, and we basically begged her to come back for this one. And her house, we loved her house so much in this one. It's actually what gave me the idea for Stab 6 to lock everybody in the house. And Karen was so generous and so kind and offered to let us film the majority of Stab 6 in her house. And she has her daughter that lives there and her husband, and they run a business. So it really was a lot on them to have 15 people constantly in their house for 2 weeks straight.
Just think about that, Karen, all right?
But she is absolutely phenomenal, and I will write Karen apart in anything I write ever. We'll have to get her back for something soon. I just love her.
What was that?
See? Look at that. She's such a great actress. I love her. Again, my filming techniques could use some help. This was another night that was a challenge. Notice it's raining now. It's so funny because I changed subjects, but that's not Karen's demeanor at all. I've never heard Karen raise her voice at anyone or swear, so that was really funny. But yeah, the umbrella was something we had to add in because it was raining, and we actually ended up filming under some tarps because we couldn't get the equipment wet, and you can hear it bouncing off the tarp if you listen closely. And yes, we actually TP'd Karen's yard, and she didn't care. It was all for the movie. Her and her husband Frank are just freaking awesome people, and they really put up with a lot. Karen getting stabbed in the rain and the snow right now, and she's about to get dragged through the snow, which she actually did. But they were game about everything. They let us TP their yard, they let us get blood all over their house, and they were just so awesome. There she goes. She had so much snow up her back, we felt so bad for her. And this is a slight tribute to Drew Barrymore in Scream, where she's tied to a tree. Drew would have been hung from a tree, but... And even the zooming close-up on her was kind of a tribute to that.
Hello?
I'm right
Dave's
here.
back for
I
some
hear you
more
loud and
fun.
clear. Do you really have to belittle me in front of your new little...
But yeah, one more quick note about Karen. There is still fake blood on the floor of her basement that has stained stuff permanently, and they leave it and tell all their friends about it. Oh, someone filmed a horror movie down here.
Well, you know, I don't understand why we're Skyping if you want to talk about me. I mean, it's a little awkward.
So you might recognize this living room from Stab 6 as well. It gets a little bit of a makeover before then, and you see more stuff in it. But, like the pool table and stuff like that. But it is used again in Stab 6.
Then spend time with me.
Okay, hey now.
It's okay, babe.
Even though this is supposed to be Shannon's house,
I'm headed to my holiday show soon.
You're a performer too?
it's still used as a set of Karen's house in Stab 6 because it actually is Karen's house.
You don't want to hear my stuff.
But Karen's house has a lot of cool extra rooms and entryways, so we were able to kind of use one door as a side.
Then I'll give you a little something.
You may even notice, too, after the scene, after the cops arrive, that the exterior of the house is the same exterior of the house where the Scarecrow Ghostface is in Stab 6 and any outside scene. So, like I said, even though it's supposed to be Shannon's house, it's really Karen's house, and nobody has ever really commented on that, so I'm not sure they noticed. The room she just came out of is actually not a room, it's actually an office that leads to that doorway, but we wanted it to look like a different house. So that's why the lighting is very dark out here too, so you can't tell that it was the same house. So she's just going in and out of an empty office, answering the door with nobody at it. And then we cut to a different scene, or a different take where she's in another room.
Got it?
I think that's pretty standard with a lot of filmmaking.
Are you alright? Were you yelling?
But notice you don't see her enter this room because the doors are different.
I think I scared him off though. I used to play that game when I was little.
The girls are not drinking in this scene, though we probably all could have used a drink at this point. But they're actually drinking apple juice. This is a character that Dave actually created on his own, and you can even find more videos of Juro on YouTube.
Yo, this is Juro, and I'm here to
And he does rap and everything. Dave does a couple of hilarious characters on his YouTube channel. You have to check them out. We wanted to fit as many of them as we could into this. Damn, and like I said, he's so fine. His last name is Fine. Dave Fine. Get it? He's so fine. Alright, I'm done. Cheesy joke's over. Yeah, right.
Somebody at that door when I open it, okay? I'm gonna freak out. I'm keeping my fingers
I think this was one of the first scenes that Rachel and I two really fell in love with Stephanie as an actress. It was sad we had to replace Shannon, but Stephanie was such a godsend. As you'll see in Stab 6 when she expands to be the lead character.
I'm gonna flip the fuck out. I cannot stand kids.
A lot of that too is based on fan reactions. Replacing Shannon definitely caused a stir, but many people were satisfied with the change and praised Stephanie for her acting abilities. And then teaming these two up together is just great. Like, they're both big personalities, they're both great actresses, and they're both have excellent comedic timing, but they can both look terrified if they have to. Really, we were lucky to have the cast we had. Oh shit! There's a killer. Notice there's not actually a knife in his hand. This was a really tricky thing to film, and we missed a couple of angles of it because we were rushing because it was the end of the night that we filmed this. She spits out edible blood and she falls to the ground, and she literally fell and wiped out so nicely we never got a shot of it. I believe Stephanie even filmed some of this too. I can't remember if Rachel was there that night or not. So this could be Rachel filming, or this could be Stephanie filming to help us out.
Dylan, Detective Roberts, move that gun away, right now. What just happened here? The whole neighborhood just called us in. There's a guy.
The whole neighborhood called it in the 12 seconds it happened.
Son of a bitch. Dylan, call for backup. Back up!
But I guess if you heard screaming that loud, Dylan, call for backup. Back up! That's one of my favorite things in the movie. There was supposed to be some extras there as cops who ended up arriving very, very, very late, so they didn't end up getting used. We were going to film an additional shot to cut to, but we never did that. But Dylan even talks to them again after Chris Duby's character shows up. And then we ended up adding in sound effects of like a police scanner talking and stuff like that.
Oh, my stuff.
We also forgot we had red and blue flashing lights that were missing.
No, you stay here.
I love this moment for Patty, Patricia. She takes the gun. Look how satisfied she looks.
Everything's
Oh.
A lot of the actors forget
No,
that the
it's not.
camera's still on them, but
It's only gonna get worse.
Come on up, asshole, with your hands up.
I love that shot of Chris running up, because if you only see it for a second, you really think it could be the killer running at you. And little do they know it is. But there's the other killer, so this is obviously supposed to be Kenny, aka Steve Matlock, attacking her. But of course it's me in the costume. Well, you can actually like see my Michael Jackson socks or my ankles, one of the two. I'm so white I can't tell the difference. That was another digital effect. The gunshots in this movie are all done digitally, which I had never done before. I had taken video production classes in high school, but I'd never really done anything of this caliber, and most of what I did was live TV show productions for a local channel. But I've always been a writer, and I've loved writing, and I love horror movies, and I love screams, so connecting them all. That's where he's being delivered to fake cops. So, like we said, these movies are really a learning process more than anything, and every movie we like to think we get a little bit better and we learn a lot. I love the shot of Patty coming out of the door.
Oh my god! We need a medic! Now!
And Mandy did so great in that scene. I can't remember where we filmed this.
Already started, fucking stoners.
Oh, actually, I think this is at Jen Mallard's old apartment, is how we got this location. Again, she doesn't live there anymore. All of us have moved on, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Jen's old apartment that we filmed in here, and we dressed it a little, but it was already beautiful, so it's kind of funny that it's supposed to be Alex's house. But we figured since he was watching Rudolph, it would be okay if he had good taste.
I thought it was a tumor pressing against my brain.
Another thing that's supposed to be framing Chris O'Brockie, or Derek, as the killer. He came in with blood dripping down his coat and makes an excuse about a bloody nose, but...
Oh, back it up.
More weed smoking, of course.
What kind of marathon we watching anyway? Some edited for TV horror bullshit.
It's a stop animation Christmas movie marathon. Tradition of mine every year.
I noticed our movies had a lot of scenes where it was all girls talking, or like all girls and one guy, or the guys are sorely lacking because they're very hard to find actors around here. That's why we recruited a bunch of them from out of state.
And now more victims.
But the scene was important to us that we had a group of guys sitting around talking about the events of what was going on, and kind of the contrast of what you would normally see in a movie, either a group of mixed people or all girls, or at least in our movies. So it was kind of funny for us to be like, how would the guys handle this situation as opposed to the girls?
Is this a remake?
It's a fucking reboot, guys. Someone's trying to make...
And this is also like the Randy moment. There's not really a character that represents the Randy from Scream character in Stab 5. It's supposed to be the Derek. He's really supposed to be the Randy, but he's not. They're all kind of the Randy. They all kind of share the Randy consciousness, essentially. Obviously, his character is one of the killers, so he's got some insider information, and he's done his research.
Dude, fuck off, man. I told you where I was.
Hey, Rudolph's back on. Shut it.
But we got lucky. We have a lot of really cute boys and girls in our movies. I remember the first day Steve Matlock came on set. Every girl in there lost their shit, basically. I'm amazed panties just didn't go flying at him right away.
Maybe it's none of those things. Maybe it's the same premise, but with new rules.
Huh?
You know, how like all the Scream movies have rules?
So this one you start to see, you know, that we're learning to set up everybody's shots individually and stuff like that, too. It's a slow learning curve, but it's a learning curve at that.
And main girls can die.
So, the opposite of the old rules? So, smoking weed's okay?
That sounds like bullshit. Even if you're right, I don't see what kind of rules the killer would be following.
The killer doesn't follow the rules, the victims do. The killer makes the rules, so they can be anything.
So the killer is the only one that knows the rules to survive. Doesn't sound like a game I want to play.
I don't think I'd play that game either.
Scared all of a sudden.
Because I'm a cast member of Stab 4. I could be next.
And that was kind of the theme that it gets shoved into everyone's faces for the rest of the movie. The whole idea of Stab 5, Stab 6, and Stab 7 is somebody is trying to finish killing the entire cast of Stab 4.
That'd be smart or ingenious, but we're assuming that whoever's doing this is smart. They're just replicating the work of someone else. I mean, how smart could they really be?
Dumb enough to draw attention from the Rudolph Marathon I've been waiting all year to watch. Can we focus? Smoke weed, drink beer, stop talking about the murders?
And it's the holiday season. I'm telling you, this guy's a fucking genius. Truly inspired work. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
So this scene we actually wanted to film in a real hospital waiting room, and we contacted so many different hospitals and it just wasn't happening. There was a whole bunch of insurance liabilities or their patients' privacy sort of deals. So this is actually filmed, if you notice the wallpaper, in a lower level of my old apartment building that you see. And the emergency sign is an actual emergency sign that we filmed, but it leads you just to a hallway in my building.
I mean, look at me now, 22, a detective. It's pretty impressive. And what about you?
This is kind of the slower part of the movie. There's a lot of talking back to back before anything happens, and that's something we're more wary of now too when making horror movies. Like, the modern audience is so ADHD essentially, and overhyped, and they need constant action to keep them going. We can blame all the superhero movies for that. But so this is something you don't see too frequently anymore in our movies, like a couple of scenes back to back with people having meaningful conversations. But this one was important for us because we really wanted to develop the characters in this scene. You learn a lot about Jennifer's real life character. You learn a lot about Mandy's Dylan character and her backstory, and kind of see that the common thread between them is pain and suffering. And that theme's only growing as Ghostface is attacking and killing people that they know. Well, right now it's only happening to Jennifer, but eventually it involves Dylan too.
She was really creepy. She hadn't got the death card.
And it is funny, that later in the movies they are killing the Manchester Massacre survivors, and not just the survivors from people that were in Stab 4. So Dylan kind of gets lumped in, even though she's not a Stab 4 cast member in reality. She becomes a really big target for the killers, mostly because she's nosy and getting in the killer's way. But I think the rest of the killers in the other movie just want to kill her because they know she was involved and she's a survivor of last time. Where Dylan just walked off to is literally just a door that goes outside, but it had a set of stairs up, so it was effective to make it look like she was going into maybe a different area of the waiting room to talk to the front desk.
Come on, babe, I really need you right now.
And I guess, Dave doesn't answer his phone when she calls, so I see what the fans were saying. Maybe it really is set up that Dave is the red herring.
Some answers. What did they say? She's gonna be okay, but I need to keep her overnight.
Well, that's good news.
No, it's not. She's insisting she go home, and I've gotta take her.
Could you do me a favor? Can you drop me at the house that I'm staying at on the way?
Well, I wanted to keep you in protective custody for the evening. I'd just really rather go back to the house. Fine. I'm gonna have somebody keep a close eye on you overnight.
I really appreciate it.
Now let's get going. Let's go get my aunt. You could probably use some rest.
I knew it. She's your aunt. You are related.
Shut it. Keep that off the record, or this bitch will hunt you down. I'm kidding. And first thing in the morning, I'll call that psychic. And I know I never told you this, but I'm sorry about your friends. Thanks.
Hello?
And now we're back to Myths and Maidens in Manchester. You get to see a lot more of the store this time,
What questions do you see?
and a lot of their merchandise. This was another challenging film and a really challenging edit. I really wanted a lot of motion in the shots. Like you see, that was an actual shot on set that I didn't add the motion into later in editing. So,
So this is all
I wanted this whole scene to move a lot and feel as flowy as her cape that she's wearing, and fluid. A lot of the movie felt chunky, so by the time we got to filming this, we wanted a little more, like I said, fluidity to it.
Lady, if you knew how many people I see in the last 3 days, you'd know I recognize the wall before I recognize
But I love this set. I'm just obsessed with it. There's a couple of angles of it where the lighting is just immaculately beautiful.
boyfriend and another girl. She got the death card, scared the shit out of her, poor girl.
Yeah, and she was just
And
murdered.
Ashley playing the fortune teller is just so
Did you make it come true?
subdued and relaxed in playing it, and she speaks with that ancient air.
24 hours a day for anyone who seeks it to glance into their future.
But this was also, like I said, we wanted the actors to have stuff to do in the scenes this time, instead of just standing around all the time. So you'll notice the fortune teller's like straightening up her store the whole time, and that made filming a little challenging. Like we had rehearsed it a few times, but even a slight change would mean that I wasn't filming the right area, or I wasn't able to follow quick enough. But they were both excellent in that scene. They both just slayed. I never got a shot of Dylan leaving. But I love this too. Her going down the stairs. Takes off the cape finally and sits down. This could have been filmed better as well. But he just appears. She gets her throat slit. We never really see the throat slit, just blood coming through her hand. So, but we think you can figure out what happened.
All right, girls. Josh will be out in a minute. Everybody ready?
I have a question.
This is fun. This is the Sarah Campbell auditions.
My friends call
So
me V.
this is the first time you meet Veronica. She's played by Ariel Kaplan. And Ariel's another one that we grew up doing theater and musical theater with, so we were really excited to have her involved. She's also a huge Scream fan. The outfit she wears to dine in this movie is actually a costume that she wore for Halloween, where she was cosplaying Casey Becker from the first Scream.
No matter how
So,
you say it, the answer is
originally, Shayna's character wasn't in this movie. No, excuse me. Amanda Constant's character, I can't remember which it was. One of them wasn't in it originally. And Alicia Vigent from Stab 4 was her replacement. We couldn't get Alicia to come back.
You can call me Veronica.
We still can't get Alicia to come back, so we actually end up killing her off verbally in Stab 6. You hear that she died in like a drunk driving accident or something like that, because we just couldn't get her back. Life took over and she moved away and all that kind of stuff. But we ended up with Shayna and Amanda, and they are amazing. They're so much fun. Rachel tears up this scene too. Like, she really lets some of her bitch flag fly. The competition between her and Veronica only heats up as the movie goes on, and I love that. Like, for some reason, Rachel's character just doesn't like the character that Josh picks to be the lead girl, Veronica. So it's kind of like this constant back and forth. Maybe they're fighting over Josh's love, really, but
So once you get into the room, just dive right
this is also one of the very few times that we actually have like random extras in the scene, or random people that don't continue in the movie. There's two girls that audition for Sarah Campbell in this. That's the only time you ever see them in our entire franchise, is when they're auditioning. One of them you already saw. She was sitting on the floor with the black hair and the glasses. Zelinda Nicole Alvarez, and she's actually missing. She should be near my hand on that wall.
Good, then you can start.
Sitting on the floor right there, but she wasn't. But
All right, dazzle us.
we tried to decorate every room we could with whatever kind of Scream memorabilia we had laying around. And I know this is one of Rachel's favorite scenes to film in this movie, just filming our reactions to them auditioning, like this right here. We have so many takes of those, and they were all so much fun. Gut Milk was originally going to sponsor us before they found out how bloody our movies were and how much swearing there was in them. So you'll even notice that we had released, that's Zelinda right there. And that's Caitlin, who only appears in this little scene. But yeah, there's some promo artwork for the movie featuring the stars of the movie with milk mustaches and in different funny poses being murdered and stuff like that, because Gut Milk was going to sponsor us. So now we're back to Jennifer's house. This, something I didn't mention before, filming over the computer like that was kind of challenging. Like, they were both great and fantastic and patient, thank goodness. But on our end, the shots where you can see Jennifer talking back to Dave, like on the screen, were lagging quite a bit. So whenever she was saying her lines, they weren't quite coming out when we needed them to. And it would look like he was talking over her, essentially. So you'll notice she has some great shots in it, too. Like that shot of her crying, and it was just so beautiful. But you'll notice a lot of shots we crop out where you can see her in the upper left-hand corner of the screen there.
You know how seriously I take my commitments.
In Stab 4, you know, we did kind of establish a little bit that there has to be some sort of emotion involved somewhere. Someone has to love and care about something for this to be scary and for there to be any stakes that are high. So Jennifer really gets the emotional scenes in this movie, and I think that's what makes her the final girl, is that she's more grounded than everyone else and she's more real. And we feel for her in other ways aside from being attacked by a killer. Not only is she being attacked by a killer, but her boyfriend's far away and she's not at home, and don't we all just feel so bad for her, you know? And she's a strong character, and I think that's why you feel bad for her, because seeing her in a defeated mode is almost depressing to you. What looks like a white pillow in the corner of that shot is actually a light diffuser.
And another one who escorts me back.
Again, it was a lot of learning process. There were 2 people cast to play Jennifer's security guards, too, or 2 officers, I think it was. The same guys that were the officers that showed up late for that other scene. Guess what? They didn't show up for this scene either. There's supposed to be one standing in her, outside of her bedroom door, and I think there was another one that may have even been in her room in the original script. I can't remember.
I gotta do something to just...
That's what I get for doing commentary on these movies 5 years after they've been made.
Yeah, I emailed you the script.
Again, this script is actually the script for Stab 5, what you're watching, not the Stab 5 in Stab 5. But all of the script for the Stab 5 in Stab 5 is in the Stab 5 script. Does that make sense?
Sharing it with someone else. I'm sure he won't find out. And just so you know, I love you too. Ugh. Damn it, I miss you!
I miss you too, Pooh Bear.
I think I did good.
I think you did.
And now we're back at the auditions.
Josh said I wasn't gonna get cast.
I'm not sure if the lighting or the autofocus feature is what's making those shots do that, but either way.
It's just chatter, trust me.
There goes my...
The lighting is so glowy in this apartment, I love it.
I got it! I'm the new Sarah Campbell! What? I can't believe it! Well, yes I can. Oh my god, I have so much to do.
I wonder how odd that would have been actually to have the girl that played Sarah Campbell's little sister play Sarah Campbell in a sequel. Like, I could see why my character would have gone with Ariel's character.
Shana, it doesn't matter. I'll make sure Josh adds some really great scenes for Casey Campbell.
I didn't mean to upset you.
Casey Campbell, too. Yet another tribute to the opening scene of Scream.
All of us are cut out for leading roles. Some of us are just cut above the rest.
Get it? A cut above the rest. So many stab puns. There was something about her, too, that, about Ariel, that kind of reminds me of Parker Posey's character in Scream 3. So I love the way she kind of plays off the other actors and acts like she's better than them.
Will you walk me out?
Yeah, I'm ready for this crappy day to end. Let's go.
So,
Thanks for coming, girls.
something we really wanted to address in this movie too, we receive a lot of comments all the time about people questioning my sexuality. Obviously I'm gay, but you know, it became like a thing online that people were talking about it on YouTube. So we decided to kind of take the gayness and rub it in your face a little, and although it's not played up that I'm the gay character in this one, we made these characters lesbians and they're playing themselves. So again, it was a lot, you know, for them to think about, oh, I have to play me, but I'm now playing a lesbian version of me. Both of these girls actually had boyfriends in real life while playing the scene. But Amanda, too, the outfit, like, she just sold, like, if you were questioning whether or not she was a lesbian, you look at that golfing outfit and you're just like, okay, I can say that I'm gay. This is one of my favorite shots in the whole movie, too. The close-ups of Shana in here with the glowy background, the way her blue shirt glows against the bricks, her hair.
Whoa, who's on the phone?
We had to do that extreme close-up because we didn't really have a way for Amanda to sneak back up behind her and scare her.
Do you want to die, Dykes?
So even the killer is kind of partaking in the gay bashing a little. Well, I guess he's very much partaking in it because he kills them, but Amanda actually punched me in the face there to the point that I had an egg on my head. But apparently I got revenge because when I pushed her, she hit her elbow on that wall. And if you watch the bloopers, you'll find out that she actually cut her finger during the scene. In this shot right here, she's holding her cut finger that she eventually had to go get a couple stitches on. We used to film with a real knife, which we never recommend doing. And literally, there were never any accidents. There were 2. But most of the time, they were really, really dumb accidents, and someone just, like, messed up their blocking. Like, in that case, Amanda moved her hand when she shouldn't have moved her hand while the knife was being swung, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, she got 2 stitches in her pinky, 2 or 3, something like that. This scene was written into, there was a couple of different ways we wanted to kill Shana. We were going to throw her downstairs, we were going to throw her out of a window, we were going to throw her over that balcony that she was looking down on Amanda dying before. And we said, you know what, let's do a kind of a tribute to Stab 4 with Adam's character's death, Travis, where he gets suffocated by a trash bag and choked out.
Docs are insisting I stay in bed now.
You got stabbed? Oh my goodness. I hope you're
So
okay.
this is one of Rachel's friends, who I've actually never met before. Her name's Crystal Wazeza. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. We've talked briefly, you know, but Rachel filmed her entire side of this. I'm not even sure where they filmed it. It might be at Crystal's house. And it was filmed way after this was filmed. Like, it was part of the footage that were like, oh my gosh, the movie's about to come out, and we still haven't filmed this. So Rachel took one of the cameras and went to this girl's house and filmed her entire side of it. So Rachel was probably just sitting behind the camera on the other side, delivering lines to her, instead of it being Patty delivering Regina's lines.
Can't figure out what to do with the character?
But she's supposed to be like her publisher or her book agent, one of the two. I can't quite remember. Again, it's been a really long time, and I've written a lot of scripts since then. But
I see your dilemma. My advice: don't wait to find
so that hence the pearls and the business aspect is what she's doing, even though she's clearly working from home, whatever she does, because I can see her kitchen.
Something just doesn't feel right about that.
Then use your police brain. Figure out who's killing.
But Rachel did a really good job, you know, like setting up the camera for still shots in this. Her shots are framed beautifully. They're better than most of my shots on the other end, in fact.
All right, Regina, let's get this fucker.
I have a weird habit of making my characters talk to themselves, too. I'm not sure if you've noticed that.
You don't have to check on me every 20 minutes. That's not why I called, but I'm glad you're okay.
This was filmed in a parking lot across the street from my apartment building, or my old apartment building.
This is about the case.
I'm not sure if you can ever see it, but the scene where Jennifer and Chris Dube and Stephanie, aka Shannon, were outside of my building, Dylan's character right now is literally parked right across the street from that.
Into the driveway. 2 more girls from the Stab 4 cast were
And again, filming inside of a car was not easy, but at least this time I got a shot of the outside of the car at the beginning. We did have shots of her doing her lines, but they didn't quite line up with how she was sitting, so we decided not to use them.
Sounds like a great plan. That's
And something's clearly wrong with the audio there. It gets really loud for some unknown reason.
This is your case now. Use it as a chance to show me what you can do. I'm officially on bed rest. Call me if you need me to Google something. Until then, I'm gonna be writing. Keep me posted.
Shit.
Just a small
We get a lot of questions about this scene and why the girls are all singing. But, like I told you earlier in this commentary, all 3 of the girls in this scene, we grew up doing musical theater together. So we're used to singing to each other, and this is something that really would have happened backstage. Like, if we were doing each other's hair and makeup and getting ready to film, there's a good chance that someone's singing. And they're both great singers, let's be honest. I think Rachel's voice was given to her by angels. But yeah, they actually picked this song, and we ended up using way more of it than I thought we would. Just because it sounded good.
up and down the boulevard.
And it's just, a nice way to break up the movie. But it was the same thing with the dance scene in Stab 4. I think it confused a lot of people. These are humans. They do normal human things, and some people like to sing. It's sad that Jennifer wasn't singing with them, too, because Jennifer is also a fantastic singer. So we could have gotten some really cool 3-part harmonies there.
And Rachel, I've never met a
But I think we were filming around a weird schedule or something. I'm not even sure that Jennifer's actually there at the same time as them. I can't remember. Her side might have been filmed separately with Rachel, but...
But then she realized, in the presence
Another
of
example of a shot that I should have set up a different shot. We did 2 or 3 takes of Rachel smearing lipstick on her like that.
Let me get that for you.
And Ariel was so game. She's like, just go for it. Just draw my whole face if you want to. Her shirt, too, I don't know if you noticed it, but it's rules for surviving a horror movie, and it has all of Randy's rules on the back of it.
Big baby. These other girls might take your shit, but just remember who put your eyeliner on.
Wow. She's really something, huh? What? I don't know.
She's acting like a bitch.
Originally in the script, Jennifer's character and Rachel's character kind of had like a little feud going on.
I bet you that she's just nervous.
Rachel didn't approve of Jennifer's character or acting technique or something, and it's actually like a theme that kind of gets played out a few more times in other scripts and stuff like that too. But they really do like each other and get along. Uh-oh. It's nighttime now. You know what that means. Darker lighting. Patty working on her writing. Excuse me, Regina working on her writing. I should really be calling them by their character names. I'm just so used to seeing them in real life that it's hard. She's not actually... I can't remember what she's correcting. I feel like that may have been some writing that was done by an ex-boyfriend of mine, and I just grabbed it on my way out of the house to use. It's a lot of writing, though. It's like a really long time of her writing. You get it? You get it? Oh, her finger's bleeding now because she's been writing so hard for so long.
Work hard, write hard. Oh, what a mess. Oh well, I know what it says.
Again, my characters talking to themselves. I write my characters talking to themselves because I talk to myself a lot. And I'm not just counting myself sitting here right now recording this commentary. Like, on a normal basis, I'm constantly talking to myself, telling myself what to do. Patty was really good about holding her injury the whole time. She hangs on to where she was supposedly injured during her attack through the entire previous scene that she was in and this whole scene. Like, she really played injured pretty well.
Why do you have a mobile phone if you're not going to answer while you're mobile? You know who this is.
Recording those voice messages is always fun. We actually normally call and leave someone a voicemail and then record the voicemail we left to my computer, just so it sounds like it's still coming through a phone. Something that I think in Stab 6 we might have recorded all of Ghostface lines through my phone first, and then recorded all the lines from my phone to the computer and then ran them through a filter. Because I couldn't find a filter to make it sound like we were already on the phone. Here she goes. She's gonna make it. She's getting there. Yeah, don't pull any stitches, girl. If you've ever pulled stitches, you know that that's a very real, painful thing. Shots of feet. I see that. I think that was a conversation Rachel and I had. We're like, oh, we always see shots of feet in horror movies when they're trying to build anticipation. Let's just show some feet. But I do like this scene. Like, it's so played out. Like, she's really struggling to get to that phone.
Where are you?
And then it leads right up to this. Bam! So, this parking garage is actually a different parking garage than where everything else takes place. This was at the hospital that we were supposed to be filming in, too. And this became an issue, too, that we couldn't film in the parking garage because of license plates that were in the parking garage that could possibly be seen in the movie. The parking garage... the one that you just saw is actually across the street from my house, and the one that you didn't see is much further, or you will see later, is much further in the heart of Manchester. But they make it seem like it's across the street from Karen's house. Karen does not live across the street from a parking garage. Karen lives out in the woods, and there's neighbors and stuff, but you wouldn't see a parking garage out there.
Tell me.
Oh, this is where Regina finally bites the dust.
It's not my case anymore.
She went. We got blood all over her house on accident during this, so that was a process for us. And the gel blood on her face was another kind of challenging thing. It almost looks like we just put jelly on her mouth or something. But we used a thicker type of fake blood because we didn't want it to be dripping through the whole scene all over her rug. But it really just looks like she went to town on a really messy peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I know that you're crazy. This is clinical, Josh. This is really spooky.
I think this was one of Rachel's favorite films to see, and you know, films to scene, is that what I said? Scenes to film. But you know, it's a big moment for her. She gets to finally stand up for herself and take a stand against the Josh character, and it also marks us going back to Karen's house to film in the start of that, because you know Rachel and Kylie will bring people back there in step 6 to film.
Vile and talentless, you little twat. One more word out of that obnoxious face of yours.
Rachel.
Chill. No, I'm done. I can't believe you.
I just got lost in her. I love her.
And now I have to deal with this little bitch? I told you I wanted Shannon to play Sarah. But no, like always. I can't even tell you how fucked up it is that you brought us here.
I love watching Rachel's hair bounce when she gets angry,
Hanging
too.
from the fucking trees, Josh!
We have permission to be here. Karen's husband said it was okay.
Rachel doesn't get a chance to play spastic a lot, you know? Like, I write her very stressed and working hard a lot, so for her to get to let loose a little, you know? And if she was holding any anger against me, she gets to at least fake quit.
Rachel, please come back. Oh no, Rachel, don't leave.
Fuck you, Veronica.
I love Alex restraining her with lighting in that one.
Fine, we'll be fine without you anyways. Thank you. Goodbye, Rachel. Goodbye.
Josh, are you okay? Do you need anything?
I don't need anything. Derek, Kenny, Alex, get everything set up in the living room.
This is, we're leading into the scene where we start filming the new version of Stab 5 inside of Karen's house.
I already know all my lines. Me too.
Then run them together.
And of course, Dylan's on the scene investigating. There's a lot of questions about this scene, too. Originally, the Dylan character died here. So you do, when the killer sneaks up behind her, right here, when he grabs her, you hear her... I hit the door, trying to grab her face first. You hear the neck crack there. She was supposed to die there. Like, she was going to get... That was going to be it for Dylan. And then, as we were filming, we're like, no, we can't do that to her. We got to give her something better than that. This is what I waited for through all of Stab 5, is the return of Heather Gale.
Murder my family and all of my friends.
Because Jennifer is just brilliant as Heather. It just kills you. She's so funny.
Not truly sorry.
And this is what I was talking about earlier, where there's an example of my horrible filming skills. That's literally how you see me filming. That's how we made Stab 4 and most of this Stab 5.
To see if I somehow had something to do with
Obviously, nothing was ever really this bad, but, you know, we were trying to make it a little over the top to show you how extreme it was. And so you can see how awkward some of it is, too. Like, there's a shot at the very end of the scene that they're playing out that the camera gets really, really close to Ariel's face, Veronica's face, whatever you want to call her at this point. And you see her kind of smirk for a minute, just because that's a real thing. Like, the camera really, right here. Because the camera really does get super obnoxiously close to you while you're trying to stay in character and act.
You don't really have a choice now, do you?
Great!
But that was a fun scene. We only did a couple of takes of it, but it was so much fun to see what the other Stab 5 would have looked like just for a second. And that makes no sense either. How I'm hearing audio popping through a handheld camera, nobody knows.
Thank you to everyone in this room for coming prepared. We do not have time to keep stopping.
Josh, I have a question about this scene.
What?
So the shot before this where you saw the two guys on the couch, that was literally only there so that you would see that Steve Matlock's Kenny character was still sitting there so that he couldn't be accused of being the killer for what's about to happen to poor Derek when he goes into the parking garage. But, like you find out at the end of the movie, Chris Dube, who's just been missing for scenes and scenes and scenes now, is one of the killers. So clearly he killed everyone while Kenny was busy working on the Stab 5 set.
Action.
To this day, this is still one of my favorite death scenes in the movie. Again, it could have been shot better. Some angles could have been shown. We could have seen what he was looking through down there, or when he goes into the glove box right here. It might have been cool to see what's inside that glove box. This is one of Rachel's old cars, actually, that we're filming in. But, you know, we could have maybe shown the Ghostface beforehand. It does this weird cut right here. I don't remember why. Right there. But whatever we had just wasn't working right, so it had to get edited together funny. But I love that shot of him being surrounded by the other Ghostface mask, so Derek doesn't really think it's a real killer. The blood on him, too, was another great thing. The battle, I love how he kicks the door. You can tell we did it a few times by the prints on the door. I actually get stuck in the car right there trying to get out of it. So the killer unintentionally bought Derek some more time, too, in the running. These running shots were fun to film. Like I said, this is now a second location of a parking garage. That was more of a private. I think it's actually a parking garage for a bank, a Citizens Bank. And the way we edit it together, you can't really tell what was going on. And Rachel's car kind of appears in a few more shots than it should. But they're on, essentially everything was shot on one level, and we just kept cutting it from different angles to make it look like they were on different levels. This is actually on a different level, but you can notice Rachel's gold car right next to it in the left. It's the same car. It's also the same car that will later run him over. And that Rachel and I will drive away in eventually.
Better than last time.
Yeah, it felt better this time. I agree.
All right, we're gonna run it again, but I just need Derek. Is Derek back yet?
No, he's not back yet.
Can you go get him, please?
Yeah, I'll go get him.
Thank you, Kenny. I need a cigarette.
Oh, mind if I join you?
I didn't know you smoked.
Trying to kick the habit, but I can't resist temptation.
Let's go.
Break time, I guess. I got dibs on the shitter.
That's gross.
Guess it's just me. All alone. Awesome.
And back to the garage of doom. The puddle of blood. I love this shot too, the slow tilt up on Derek. I just always thought it was very effective. Me playing the killer is up in the air sometimes. Like sometimes I'm a little kooky looking. Steve Matlock actually plays the killer in costume for a lot of the scenes that take place in the garage too, but that one's clearly me. I can just tell by the way I walk. So you'll notice again, same gold car that belonged to Rachel, with Derek hiding behind it. And like I said, this is one of my favorite like death scenes in our movies, just because it's kind of aggressive and it's something we didn't do. But again, we didn't plan it out very well, so it's missing a whole bunch of shots. I love that. The car gets started, the killer backing it up, I love that. We're missing a shot right here of his leg getting run over, and then it gets broken because the killer goes further back. And the whimpering right here is actually me trying to dub in whimpering that was missing because of strange audio things. But then it switches back to his, but you can clearly hear the difference. The blood splattering on the walls was something we hadn't done, and there was already blood all over the wall. So we tried to film it that way to make it look like that's where it came from. And that's why we had this whole extra shot, just so you can see the blood splattered all over the wall, because that was something we hadn't really done before, because we couldn't really get anything bloody, but that it would just wash right off of. This was a really fun sequence to film too, and it took a lot of us. Rachel's doing the filming, and that's me in the costume stabbing him. And then I'm still right there too. I'm actually wearing that same black coat under that killer's costume. So then this is me, and now Steve Matlock, aka Kenny, is playing the killer in the scene. That's the shirt I was telling you about that she wore as a costume for Drew Barrymore earlier too, for Halloween. I'm also running with no shoes on there. I don't know if you can tell, but that whole sequence after I fall, I don't have shoes on. And now this is still Steve Matlock playing Ghostface so that I could be in the scene again. And he was really excited. I remember him really wanting to film the scene. And we missed some great shots here too. Like there should have been close-ups through the window of Ghostface, close-ups through the window of meeting Rachel. But again, everything was on such a tight time frame that we didn't have a lot. So Rachel and I get away, and you don't hear from us for the rest of the movie. And you don't really hear from us again until the opening of Stab 6, where I die. And then Rachel's character comes back. Now we're in Karen's basement, and this is like finally the finale of the movie.
What's going on? Who's that? I can't see you. It's Dube. Where are we?
I don't know.
And now Chris Dube has magically reappeared. That should have been a red herring right there.
Help! Who did this?
Everyone stay calm.
It was so dark in this basement, and it was really hard for us to find a balance between light and dark that you could see the characters and still feel like it was scary enough.
At all. Welcome to the final round.
Even this, like, on my computer right now, I can see Ghostface glowing flawlessly. We actually used a glow-in-the-dark mask for it, so that he'd be glowing from the shadows. But I'm not sure, not everyone can see it on YouTube. A lot of people say it's too dark and you can't see the killer. I can see the killer and the knife in that shot.
Never say who's there. It's a death wish.
Just his face, though. Everything else is black.
I'm gonna arrest you so hard, you piece of shit.
Would you like to be
This was another challenging scene to film. I'm trying to remember. It may have taken us 2 nights to film just because they're so long and there's so much dialogue and there's so much talking and there's so much story that has to be connected by what they're saying. And so this went on for a really long time. This was Mandy's first time ever filming. And I think we lost the footage of it, but Mandy is actually the 3rd person to play Dylan. That's a little known fact. We started with the ending every time. That's why it took us multiple times to film it. I'm remembering it now. We were trying to start production with filming the ending because it was such a long, complicated sequence. So originally we had a different girl playing Dylan, and her and I just didn't get along. I won't even mention her name or anything, but we filmed an entire scene with her and everything, and we just couldn't get along on set, and she was upset when she would get emails and stuff about filming. So we switched her out pretty quick, and the part was actually written for a different person. It was written for Amanda Goulson, who also would have been in Stab 4 as a different character.
I had to make my own remake, and not a reboot.
But instead,
not a sequel.
We lost her. She had a horrible sickness, so that it was really sad for us to lose her. She didn't die or anything like that, I should clarify, but she got over her sickness, but she wasn't able to film. So then we replaced her with the other girl, and the other girl didn't work out, so then we filmed the scene again with Dylan now, Dylan. I'm getting tired. This has been a lot of talking. With Mandy playing Dylan now. But, yeah, I think it paid off because a lot of the fans really, really love Mandy, and she has really become a close friend of mine, and she has a special place in my heart now. She's in the new Stab 7, so we keep killing her in these movies and bringing her back because the fans are just in love with her.
You're both insane.
Chris Dube playing the killer, I was hoping would be shocking to a lot of people because his character in Stab 4 was constantly being accused of being the killer, and he wasn't the killer. So for it to switch to real life and for him to actually be the killer was a pretty funny thing in my head. And for him too, he was one of those actors that didn't have a qualm about playing himself that wasn't himself. Like, he was totally okay with playing Chris Dube, but playing Chris Dube as a murderer. He understood that people would be able to separate real Chris Dube from movie Chris Dube. But I wonder how that pays off in real life. I wonder if any fans ever really think he's a killer. Dube is another one, too, that we just love so much that we put him in a lot of the films we do, like even the short films. He's in The Gates. He's in Stabbed 2. And he's just really, really fun to work with. He brings such good personality to set. And his character even echoes through Stab 6. Not so much in Stab 7, but Stab 6 is really focused on the Shannon character, so there's a lot of Dube references, and he even has like 2 little cameos in it, one in a mirror and one where Shannon's getting choked out at the end.
Or a movie. You guys are killing off real people. This is real life.
You can notice the camera struggling with how dark it is. Like, it can't always stay in focus, but I loved the idea of filming in a basement, and Karen had this really cool basement that basically behind him has like a little secret passage that goes to another room. So we really utilized that. When Jennifer escapes, eventually she runs. You can't see her going through the secret passage, but she does.
And you deserved more than that.
And the killer's motivation was something that Rachel and I thought about for a long time too.
You decided to make a own little movie where you were the star.
You know, like, replicating the movies just seems to be something that's being done. You know, that seems to be a lot of the other killers' motivations in our movies and other people's movies. So we loved the idea of Kenny killing people because he was trying to win a girl over. Like, he was trying to make a love story out of a horror movie, which Yes, all of the horror Scream movies have love stories too. There's the Dewey and Gale story, and even Sydney has significant others in them and stuff. But it's never been the killer's motivation. Has never been because he loved her and because he wanted to be with her and he's going to build a career for her. So I think that was fun for us to have a killer with kind of an odd motivation. And Steve did not want to film this scene. He was very upset about having to beat a girl. He didn't care about playing a killer, per se, as much as he cared about that one scene where he had to punch Jennifer in the face. And we even had several conversations about how he didn't want to do it. I'm like, it really breaks up the scene, and the audience needs to see how psycho Kenny is. You know, like, he does think he loves her, and he's doing all this for her, but he's insane enough that even though he's doing all this for her, he'll still punch her face in if she says no.
Hey, what?
And this was like one of the first times we got to use some like bruising makeup too, bloody lip makeup and stuff like that.
Hand it back to me. Okay.
They're cutting each other's ropes with a razor blade that we have a shot of somewhere. We had a shot. This is one of my favorite angles too of this basement, that up shot of them. But yeah, we had a shot of the razor blade cutting the rope, and I have no idea what happened to it.
They're coming. Sit still.
Jennifer takes off. And what she's grabbing here is the mask, the Ghostface mask, because in this version, in Stab 5, we used the Ghostface mask as the actual voice changer, like the mask had a built-in voice changer. So even when she talks through the voice changer, she holds the mouth of the mask up to her mouth. I guess in theory there could have been a voice changer inside the mask that the killers put there, and she just figured out how to use it. But the killer spoke a few times, not on the phone in this movie, so we wanted there to be an excuse on how there was a
Do you like scary movies?
voice changer.
Hang up. I'm done with her. This is our fucking game. You hear that, baby? It's over. We're done. I'll fucking kill you.
I told you there was too many of them involved. Too easy for someone to get away. She's fucking gone, dude.
Fuck! You fucking bitch! We're all the same. Toy with our hearts, fuck with our emotions. Run away when times get tough. And you, Jennifer, you fucking bitch. I did this all for you. You're gonna fucking hide.
Dylan is about to grab the gun out of Chris Duby's hand and smack him over the head with it, and I can't tell you how many times we had to do this to get this shot perfect, but look how good she does. BAM! It looks so real, and obviously it wasn't. This is just set up Kenny's electrocution. There's a naked girl counter in the background, I don't know if you saw it. And this was actually done with a taser, like a stun gun. Like I said, I wasn't very good at digital effects, I didn't know anything about it. And so one of the boys, Chris or Steve, had a taser randomly, so it shot out electricity, so we filmed it up close and made it look like Kenny was getting electrocuted. Again, this is another scene where Dylan is supposed to die. You'll notice during Shannon's cameo right here, this is actually the first scene Stephanie ever filmed, because like I said, we started with the ending of this movie. But the other side of it
police decided to put me into hiding so the killer wouldn't
may have been filmed by the real Shannon, was filmed by the real Shannon first. It's even on our YouTube channel that you can see the alternate ending that was filmed with the real Shannon. That's why we filmed the ending 3 times. Now I remember. Because we had the Dylan replacement once, and then we had the Shannon replacement as well. I'm not sure that we ever posted any footage of the other Dylan. Just because it didn't end well.
For pretending you love me? For being a psycho?
I get lost in the scene. I love when they go crazy on each other. But yeah, Dylan is missing through a good portion of this. She had that one line and then she just disappears, and they kill both the killers right here, and you never hear from Dylan again until the next movie. But yes, she was supposed to die at the end of this, and yet again we brought her back. And I thought this was just such a fun way to end the movie. The 2 main girls overcome everything, and that's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything else of what happened. You don't need to see them walking away happy and their life changing and stuff like that. Overall, Stab 5 was an excellent experience. Like I said, it was definitely a learning process, and we learned a lot, and we realized how big of a commitment we had really gotten ourselves into with this one, because Stab 4 was just a wham bam, thank you, all done sort of deal. But this one was definitely a grander scale, and we tried new things that we were scared to try in the last one. So overall, I'd say we're proud of it. It's currently our most popular movie on YouTube, so apparently the fans like it too. Thank you all for watching. This is Joshua Patrick Dudley, and I will see you in our next Stab movie.